Welcome back to the underground layer of Stringman guitars. Today's adventure involves a Fender Telecaster. It has two humbucking pickups, and I believe she's a Mexican-made beauty. Nice pearl finish. Needs some cleaning up, but basically today's job is we're going to put in a jazz humbucker in the neck and a JB trembucker in the bridge. So let's get her started. Take a quick look at her. You see there's you really can't see here, but there is a faint crack in the lacquer where the neck joint usually is, and there's one that's a little easier to see there. I don't know if it is or not. Come on, camera. Nonetheless, it's there. Okay, the first thing I want to point out is, see that little hole there? Right there. Turns out that whenever they mounted the string tree, the roller string tree, they didn't measure the length of the screw, or used a screw that wasn't supposed to be there, and it went all the way through the headstock. So the frets are in good shape. Take some measurements real quick. See what the relief is like. He doesn't want a setup, he just wants to change the pickup, so I want to make sure everything is working right. Stop it. So we go from the 17th, and we're looking for 10 1/1000ths relief, and we don't even have it. Yeah. Looks like we got about 9. Go to the end, and it fits under nicely. String height. String height gauge, there it is. Should be 4/64 all the way across. And it's sitting at about 5. 4, 4, 4, and 4. So these two, let's see, the E, the A, E and A are a little high, and do a quick check with the noise maker to make sure that all the noises it's making is what it's supposed to be. I'm not checking to see if it's in tune, I'm just checking to see if it's has any noise in the controls. So appears it was good there. So with that, let's hop into it. Okay, with the strings off, the well, it's not going to go into the movie, but the neck should be very dry. So we're going to hit it with some oil. There doesn't look to be a lot of junk on here, so we're going to let that slide and just clean it up a little bit. Be right back. So we're going to put a little oil on here. I just hit it with some 3/0 steel wool, and this fingerboard's really thirsty, so while we're waiting for the solder gun to warm up, we'll just oil the fingerboard. How about that? It's like a weird wood. I don't know if that's rosewood. Doesn't feel like rosewood. It ain't ebony. It's either really dry rosewood. Although the SG that you saw in the other video, that was really dry. This might be that new wood that they're using. Palo Alto? I don't know. I don't know what it's called. You know, since the hippies got a hold of the rosewood ban and ran with it, so that they can't use rosewood anymore. This is a new guitar. It's either this year or last year. It might be that stuff that they're using. I don't know. But nonetheless, just going to let this stuff soak in and let it get plump again, because nobody likes a dry fingerboard. It's ugly. Man, is this dry. It's ugly, and eventually it'll kind of shrink, giving you those pointy razor sharp fret ends that everybody hates. Okay, just gonna let that soak and be good for a minute. Now we're going to take the control plate off. Not sure how much wire they give us here. Wonder if it's even shielded. Mexican Telecaster should be shielded. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room. I don't know that that's the stock wiring though. That's kind of odd looking. But at any rate, push pull, and you've got your 5-way switch, of which you're using only 3. So let's get that in there. So we know what to unsolder. I'm going to unsolder that. Unsolder that. I'm sorry. We're going to unsolder that. We're going to unsolder that. That's what we're going to unsolder. So, alright, we'll be back. And yes, it is shielded. Cool. Alright, we're just going to let this lay here. Soldering gun should be nice and warm, and we'll get at it. Okay, after quite a bit of freaking out over different wiring schemes and having to figure out between the Fender wiring that was in there and the Seymour Duncan different wiring that's in there. I had to transpose which wires were what and wire it up the way that Fender had it so that it works the way that it should. So we have now a jazz humbucker from Seymour Duncan and a Seymour Duncan JB Trumbucker, which I have for one of my guitars that's waiting to go in when I get some time. I also found out that this indeed is rosewood, and it's a 2016 model. So yeah, it has the original rosewood. But I did polish up the frets and get it restrung up, and it's strange being intimidated and then conquering it. So anyhow, we're going to do a setup too, just because I don't know exactly where, you know, they had it, or I know where they had it. I don't know if it was set up properly. The strings are old. So anywho, that's that. Get it strung up, and then I'll show you the finished product. I robbed you guys. I took off the first piece of plastic off the new pickup, but I remembered. So we'll do the neck pickup for you guys. Oh, it's like unwrapping a new iPhone or Android. Can't fault people for not buying the right kind of phone. No kidding. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Ah, it's pretty. Now I use some of my famous guitar grease. I'm sure it's all blurry. On the saddles, and then I use a special formula for the nut. Yeah. Since we're not doing any whammy bar or anything with this, that's all it needs. So we're going to go ahead and make sure, let it sit for a second and double check that it's in tune. Okay, now Gibson wants to see, or Fender wants to see, I'd like to see my, there it is. My feeler gauges. They're saying if you fret at the third fret, then hey, you slide that 0.010 right in there. Sure enough. Okay, so that's good. At least they put the nut in right, which isn't always the case. And then, though we did just string her up, you want to do a check on the relief, which they also want to see 0.010. You hold down the 17th, and at the 7th fret you want to get it just under there, and I can just feel that. So that's right now, but like I said, we just strung it. And then they want to see 464. So as we saw earlier in the video, the two, the E and the A, We're at 5/64, and the rest of them were 4/64. Let's see if it's changed. Let me unplug my noisemaker. So at the 12th fret with the capo off, you want 4/64, so we're going to come down a little bit on that one. I'm going to guess we're metric. No. Maybe we're American. No, maybe we were metric. Oh yes, we were metric. So when you raise and lower the saddles, you want to keep them at the same height. And before I even check, I'm going to see. Well, I see that the A string is not level. So we're going to drop this E down a little bit. Let's check where we're at here. We're still tall. You can keep a track of your turns. Check it again, and we are at 4/64. Let's try the 5th, or the E. We're at 4/64. The A, sorry, 4/64. The D is 4/64. The G is 4/64. The B is a little high, so we're going to bring that down a little bit. Half turn on the grub screws, and a little bit more. And by doing this, you automatically follow the radius of the neck. Where we used to have to deal with these guys here. Where's my hand? There it is. These radius gauges, and they were never really accurate because you're pulling slightly on them and you can't really get it right. So down to the E, we're 4/64. So we got the right string height, the right relief, and let's just tune it up again in the playing position. Just went on in, but you were here for a while, and that was such a gift. You know what I mean? Okay, we are tuned to pitch. No, we were. There we go. We are a little bit flat. So many screw bits to switch here. Stand by. There we go. So the string is too long. I'm going to use use a different screwdriver. Oh, don't tell me this is stripped, or there, it's turning now. People get their gunk done in there, and all of a sudden the screws don't want to turn. People wipe down your stuff. And I turned it too far. Okay. It's a little sharp. Yeah, I'd like to make sure that they are right whenever they leave the house, because even though the guys just pay me to put the pickups in, I don't want to let it leave here all cattywampus as far as the setup is concerned. Try that at a big box store. Okay, we're good there. Sharp again. This is fun, isn't it, kids? Okay, that one's on. Go to the G. B is on. And E is on. Okay, we're going to let it sit overnight. I've got to adjust the pickup height, but I want to do that as after everything settles in. And we'll see you again on another episode of Stringman Guitars. Peace out. Subscribe, like, check me out on Facebook. Have a good night.